So, welcome back to the podcast. Today is the first day in fall here in Las Vegas that it's actually felt cool outside and felt like fall. And so I started thinking, winter's right around the corner. And during the wintertime, we tend to spend more time indoors. It's the holidays. Maybe we're spending less time taking care of ourselves and more time just really pouring into everyone else. So consider this reminder to put self-care at the forefront, okay? As a physician, I really have just taken an interest in using travel as a means of self-care for myself. Really just using it as a chance to reset and, to come back and be a better doctor for my patients and be a better wife and mom for my husband and my kids and just overall just be a better person. So I knew that travel was that thing for me, but I knew that if I wanted to continue to travel and to travel more frequently and to travel better, I had to figure out a way to do it. And so I discovered points travel years ago, but I really wasn't taking full advantage of all the opportunities that existed for me. And I think that's changed over the past couple of years for myself. And I'm hoping that we're going to do the same for you. And what I want to focus on today is using credit card points and perks for wellness and adventure. So here are some of the wellness resorts that you can book with points, starting with Miraval. So Miraval Resorts, they're Hyatt properties. They have 3 different locations currently. There's one in Arizona, Austin, as well as the Berkshires. So I've been to the Arizona location. I think they all have pretty similar premise. They are going to give you all of the wellness activities. So you can do things like yoga and floating meditation. They're going to give you options of like sound therapy and therapy with horses. You're going to get farm to table dining experiences, hiking in the desert or in your surroundings, and so much more. It's all inclusive, and Hyatt properties always offer such great value. Miraval specifically is going to run you about 45,000 points per night, and that's for single occupancy. This is going to include, again, all of your activities, and they'll give you $175 credit per night for any extra activities that aren't included. So if you want to book a massage or a facial, or maybe you want to have like a tarot card reading, or want to do one of their ropes or obstacle courses, those are all options that are available to you. And the credit is going to be given to you whether you book with cash or with points. So that's something to consider. I love that there's so much to do at Miraval. I mean, I spent some quiet time at the pool, I was able to take part in like some of the yoga and some of the fitness activities. I did one of the ropes course, stargazing by the fire pit at night, just being able to walk across to dinner in your bathrobe after getting a facial in the evening. The place is really magical. Highly recommended. It's ideal for solo trips, which is what I did, but you can go as a couple. I saw couples that were there in groups. I saw groups of, girls trips, bachelorette parties, all the things. So if you're looking for a place to go and just unwind, Miraval is a great option. You can book Miraval using Hyatt points or using your Chase points, which you'll transfer over to Hyatt. Another one of the highly coveted Hyatt point redemptions is Alila. Alila Ventana Big Sur. So it's along the coast of California. You're going to be able to focus on nature and meditation, and it has all the outdoor activities like hiking and Tai Chi, whatever your jam is. It's also an all-inclusive resort. It's going to give you all the stunning Big Sur views that, you see in all the pictures. It's bookable with Hyatt points. Again, you can transfer from Chase to Hyatt, which is great. Both resorts are adults only, so just something to keep in mind. Another place that's bookable with points that isn't really talked about as much are the IHG resorts or the Six Senses properties. So Six Senses has about 20 properties, but only a few of them are actually bookable with points. So we were thinking about going to Ibiza this summer, and we had some IHG points, and it was one of the Six Senses properties that isn't actually bookable with points. I believe there are only 6 currently that you can book with points. There's a property in Japan, the Maldives, Grenada, Italy, Israel, Thailand, but again, not all the properties in these places. So the one in Phuket in Thailand is not bookable with points. The other property is. So when we were plotting our escape to the Maldives, we looked at the Six Senses. For instance, there's a Six Senses in the Maldives that was going for about 160 to like 200,000 points per night. And then the Six Senses in Kyoto in Japan was running for upwards of like 300,000 points per night. So clearly not as good of a redemption as Hyatt, but that's pretty much all like the non-Hyatt hotels, your Hiltons, your Marriott. It's pretty much on par with those. But there's an IHG One card. And so it's specific to obviously IHG properties. You can't transfer it out to other places, but it has a $95 annual fee, which is pretty reasonable. And it's going to give you like 140,000 points sign-up bonus for $3,000 spend. And it gives you like 26 times points per dollar for any stays that you book at any of their properties. So if you like staying at like Kimptons and certain Bureau Stars or some of the smaller IHG hotels, Hotel Indigo, you may actually be able to rack up enough points to cover some of the cost of your stay there. And they do offer a 4th night free if you book using rewards. So think about that when you're planning your point strategy if you're interested in staying at one of the Six Senses properties. And they're pretty much variable in what they offer, but they all have a certain range of like wellness experiences and like holistic health programs, and they focus on sustainability. And then they have different options for adventure that's specific to the location. So if you're somewhere like in Thailand, you may find that being able to go scuba diving or snorkeling, that might be an option for you. Sometimes it makes more sense to book with cash than to book with points, but know that booking with points is an option for this property. Another property that you might want to consider is Grand Wailea. So it's a Waldorf Astoria, so it's a Hilton property. It's in Maui. We actually stayed here one year. We booked a CME trip, or continuing medical education trip. This was actually our first vacation after COVID, and we booked it through a course. So we got really good discounted rates on the hotels, and then it was reimbursed by our employer since it was considered, CME. So we didn't book this one with points, but it is bookable with points. And I've noticed that since our stay, the Grand Wailea has really increased their focus on wellness. They've got wellness rooms now. So if you book certain rooms on the property, they'll give you things like Therabody compression boots or like meditation goggles. I didn't even know what meditation goggles were. I had to look it up. Apparently, like they're goggles that help increase your meditation. So they provide like light and sound to kind of improve your meditation experience. But if you book one of these rooms at the Grand Wailea, they have these options for you. And so really just to focus on your whole wellness experience during your stay. They held a sleep retreat this past summer. I don't know if that's an ongoing thing, but they had a coach that was there who was able to focus on helping people improve their sleep habits. They've got a bio station at the spa that's there where they supposedly can create like customized health plans for you. They'll do anti-aging treatments, IV therapy and hormone therapy. So you can have blood work done. You can go and get Botox. Basically, it's like going to a clinic. Okay. So you've got all those options available to you at the Grand Wailea. And I'm also a fan of the Hilton Aspire card. Just a plug for that, because Hilton Aspire card does come with a free night certificate, and you can use the free night certificate to book a night at the Grand Wailea. I love that you can use your certificate at all the Hilton properties, and there's not really a cap. So there's many perks to having the Hilton card. It's a pretty hefty fee, as I've mentioned before, $550, but the free night certificate alone will make it worth it. I mean, if you're staying at the Grand Wailea, you're looking at upwards of $1,000 a night for your stay, especially during peak seasons. The Hilton Aspire card will give you a 175,000 point sub for a $6,000 spend over 3 months. It'll give you $400 in resorts credit. It'll give you $200 in flight credit. It'll give you, again, that free night certificate. You're going to get diamond status, which will give you like free breakfast and upgrades in many hotels. So we were able to get an amazing steal of a deal using our points for the Waldorf in the Maldives. My husband had the card specifically looking to stay at this property. After this redemption, I became a believer and signed up myself. And, you can use so now we have 2 free nights. So in between the two of us, that's enough to book us, 2 nights stay at the Grand Wailea with just our free night certificates, not even dipping into our points. So check out the Grand Wailea, enjoy a beautiful Maui vacation, and let us know how it goes. Honorable mention for Canyon Ranch. So you can't book this with points, but you can get CME at 2 of their locations. So they've got multiple locations, including one here in Las Vegas. The one in Las Vegas does not offer CME, but if you book at the Tucson or the Lenox, Massachusetts locations, you can get CME. I often bring this up because you can get CME credit reimbursed by your employer. It can often be a tax write-off for professional development. Do check with your CPA. I'm not a CPA, but check with your CPA to see if this is something that applies to your situation. The other thing to consider are adventure resorts that you can also book with points. And as Costa Rica is not specifically an adventure resort, but it is a resort that can be booked on Hyatt points. It's located in the rainforest in Costa Rica. It's going to give you access to all of your adventure activities like zip lining and hiking. You've got access to beaches. I think this is a great property for a mix of adventure and relaxation. And we'll actually be going there soon. So I'll report back after we've had a chance to experience it ourselves. Another great option if you're looking for adventure, booking a safari on point. So I'd shared something about this on my Instagram not too long ago and was thrilled when a good friend of mine texted that she was able to book it. And so I'm looking forward to hearing about their safari vacation in Kenya and having them back on the podcast once they return. But basically, you can use your Marriott points to book at the JW Marriott Masai Mara. It's an all-inclusive property. Rooms are starting at like $1,400 a night for that. And that's just for single occupancy. Can range up to like $4,000 a night. But you can book it for as little as like 98,000 points per night, which is amazing, right? It's going to include everything during your stay, your transfers to and from the hotel. It's going to include all of your meals. It even includes some of the alcohol. You get laundry done. It's going to include your game drives when you're out on the safari. So if you've ever wanted to go on a safari, definitely start saving up your Marriott points. And the cool thing about Marriott is that everyone transfers to Marriott, even some of the airlines. So Amex, Chase, Capital One, Alaska, they'll all transfer to Marriott. So you would be able to book using those points. I went to a points conference recently. And after leaving the conference, Marriott, the Bonvoy Brilliant card, which gives you a free night and status and has a current offer of like 85,000 points if you meet the sub, was sitting at the top of my list. So maybe something I'll dabble in over the next year. Another option that I love is the option for point erase. So I absolutely love a great redemption, but I also think that there's something to be said about having like this aspirational place, this place I want to go. It's not bookable by points, but I still want to go there. And so we went to Hawaii, to Big Island a few years ago, and I was determined I was going to stay at the Four Seasons Resort there. And it was pricey, and it's probably part of my revenge travel after COVID. But again, it's not bookable with points, but it was somewhere I wanted to go. So I went. And maybe you've been looking at like Amanjuri in Utah or the Blackberry Farms Resort in Tennessee, and that's really where you want to go. Then I say go there and maybe use it as a points earning experience. Or this is an instance where you would consider using your Capital One points erase feature. You know, if you have Capital One and you have points there, you can use those points to erase some of the spend for your other trips. And so it's not always the best use of points, but I honestly believe the point of having points is giving you the freedom to travel the way you want and not the way the internet tells you that you should, but go where you want and experience life the way you want to and use the points erase to cover some of the costs if that's what works best for you, you know? I know there are also some listeners who are also doctors or other healthcare professionals, and I also encourage, signing up for retreats and conferences or courses that are being held at some of these like amazing places where, again, you can get discounted room rates, you can get CME that's reimbursed by your employer, or maybe it's a tax write-off or professional development. If you're a 1099 or self-employed, you have your own business, that kind of thing. The last thing that I wanted to briefly touch on is finding like health and wellness experiences that are bookable by points or that are accessible to you as a result of you holding that particular credit card. And so ski season is coming up soon. Skiing is a great way to stay active, especially in the wintertime. It's also relatively expensive. So being able to book resorts in big ski areas like Beaver Creek using Hyatt points is great. Being able to use your Chase Sapphire Reserve for discounted lift tickets for some of the ski resorts is icing on the cake. We went to Big Bear last year for spring break, which was one of the resorts that was offering discounts through Chase. They had a pop-up lounge where you could stop by and relax and maybe grab some snacks, get some sips of some seasonal cocktails, and it was available on certain days. And it was just for Chase Sapphire Reserve card holders, which I thought was, a pretty cool perk. They have Miami Art Week that's coming up beginning of December in Miami, obviously. Aloe Yoga, which is, the yoga brand or clothing, that kind of thing. It has an upcoming wellness experience and art show that you can book VIP passes for through the Chase portal. And then you can use points or cash to pay for your entry, but you get VIP access that's available to you just as a Chase Sapphire Reserve card holder. And you'll probably get some cool swag just for being there. There's the $300 Equinox credit that's on the Amex Platinum that I've been told can be used to book a massage at like the Equinox gyms. We don't have Equinox gyms nearby, and I haven't tried this one out for myself yet, but anecdotally, I've been told that it's a possibility. There is an exclusive fitness class called The Class. It's going on this month and next. They do cardio and strength training and breath work and all these things, and it's being held in New York City. And if you have a MasterCard, any MasterCard, then you have access to this experience. There's a sound bath experience at the Grove in LA on December 5th. It's exclusive to MasterCard holders. So again, if you hold this card, you have the option of attending this event. So just all these perks that you may or may not have even realized exist are available to you. So I hope this has been very helpful for you. I hope that you get a chance to visit one of the places on the list. If so, leave a comment. If you don't, leave one anyway. Leave a 5-star review. Let me know if there's a place that I missed that should be added to the list. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow Prescription to Travel MD on Instagram and Facebook. And we'll see you next time.